Greetings and peace, and also the greetings of Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be upon you and yours, and all that you hold near and dear for the month of August 2023 and beyond. The education video that I wanted to do for the month of August 2023 is the Bektashi Order of Dervishes. And I really enjoyed this book. And when I was in Pakistan, when I visited on my Sufi pilgrimage in Pakistan, I got this from a bookstore over there. So it's synchronistic for me to receive this book. And I hope the teachings that I learned from this and what I know of the Bektashis in general and Sufism in general, I hope I can benefit you all. And the link for this book, I'll put it in the description below. And I hope you benefit from it. And just a disclaimer that myself on this channel, from the Masonic point of view, I do not represent any Grand Lodge statements or opinions. And from a Sufi point of view, I do not represent any Sufi order. So this is just me, myself, with my own free speech. So I hope you benefit. And I've taken 6 pages worth of notes, as I do with my book reviews and book teachings. So I got lots to share with you all. So beginning, Turkey, Albania, and the Balkans has a higher Sufi population compared to other parts of the world. And the Turkish people, while outwardly Sunni, were undercover in their dervish brotherhoods as partially Shia tendencies and mysticism. And we see that a lot in terms of what I learned from the Bektashi Brotherhood, that a lot of their teachings give tribute to the 12 Imams, to Ali, to the household of Ali and the Prophet. So a lot of them, even though in Turkey they might appear as Orthodox Sunni, they do that in order to conceal their identity so no one persecutes them. The founder of the order is Haji Bektashi Vali, born 1248 AD. He was a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad through Imam Hussein's bloodline. Bektashi followed both Muhammad and Ali, peace be upon them both, and claims that Ali gave him powers. Haji Bektash performed many miracles throughout his life. So the duality that he's showing here in terms of Muhammad Ali, Haji Bektash is teaching us that you need both Muhammad and Ali, peace be upon them, in order to reach God. As the Prophet Muhammad himself said, that I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gateway. So that's what is emphasized here. And the aspect of the Shia principles to love for those who love the Holy Family and enmity for those who are enemies of the Holy Family. And after he passed away, he had assigned apostles, Haji Bektash, to carry on his teachings in Turkey. And believe it or not, he also assigned the headgear of the Janissary military force that was there in the Ottoman Empire. Haji Bektash had no children except his children of the way, right? It's like the Arabic word al-Jadai, to be a master of the way. And Bektashi, the aspects of Bektashiism has elements of Shia, Alawi, and Hurufism doctrines. The Bektashi Babas, they call their sheikhs as Baba, were chaplains to the Janissaries. Janissaries had a nickname of Sons of Haji Bektash. The discharge papers of a Janissary soldier from his service shows loyalty to Muhammad, Ali, 12 Imams, Haji Bektash, and claims to be a wandering dervish. In 1808, Mahmud II declared war on Janissaries as Sultan and suppressed the Viktashis. That's when the Ottomans started going into their decline towards that last century of their power. The Viktashis went underground due to their persecution, and some adopted the identity of Orthodox Muslims as a cover to survive. And the aspect of the Mudafan book shows Haji Bektash was married with documentation, and Jalebi Ahmad Jamaluddin was a descendant. November 20th, 1925, law number 677 banned Sufism in Turkey, where I think with the current modern era that we're dealing with, things have kind of changed. Victashis flourished in Albania and the Balkans as 15-20% of the Muslim population in Albania are Bektashis. It's recognized as a faith, and many are heads of state and in positions of power. You cannot be a Bektashi unless you have a murshid, meaning a guide, or a sheikh or baba. Man has to go through the death and rebirth process. He is born from his mother, then he's born again through his murshid, born twice. You must surrender to your murshid. Do not hate your brothers or anyone else. Every living thing must be recognized as God. The aspect of Sufism, wadat al-wujud, ana al-haq, that everything is God in formation. That means, like what Mansur al-Halaj said and why he was executed, is that you, me, every single living thing in existence is a manifestation of that creator. So in reality, when they tell you that Allah is the only reality, he's the first and the last, that means everything is a manifestation of his divinity. Now the four gateways of Islam, or what the Bektashis describe. One is the Shariat, the Sunni religious law, who are known as the worshippers. The second is tariqat, teachings of the secret religious order. And these are like the aesthetics, like the monks. And the third is marifat, mystical knowledge of God, the Gnostics, to have the gnosis of God. Fourth is basically the hakikat, immediate experience of God, the true lovers. La ilaha illallah, God is the only reality. There is no God but God. And the kutubs are like the 300, basically the kutubs are the 300 saints who are the ambassadors from man to God, who decide man's fate. Some don't even know there are saints, like walis or the concepts of Rajabul Gaib. The goal to become Insan al-Kamil. All is one, no sin. One who attains status of perfect Insan al-Kamil is the only one who reincarnates. And some beings, it's the same, it's telling you that it's the same light that's coming back over and over again, guiding and teaching humanity. So what we know as these different saints and teachers that we know in different names and religions and traditions, it's telling you it's the same divine light that's coming back over and over again, teaching humanity. Moving on. Bektashis claim to be original Shias with their extreme deification of Ali. Many Persian Iranian Shias consider them clandestine. Bektashis believe evil people do not ascend and reincarnate as animals. Azrael, or the angel of death, appears as angelic to the good and evil to the wicked when the soul is taken. Your free will decides your fate. Don't blame God. So it's your actions that decide where your life goes. The trinity of the Bektashis. So the Bektashis also have a triune way of looking at God. Allah, the God, Muhammad, the Prophet, and Ali, his successor and saint, all are one secret. They are seen as one being of divine love, not seen separately. And what the Prophet Muhammad said, I am the city of learning and Ali is its doorway. God created all creation from the light of Nur Muhammad, peace be upon him. Nade Ali prayer, which you can look up, it's on the internet. The Nade Ali prayer is a powerful prayer to bring the mercy of God and the assistance of Ali into your life. The epiphanies of God, Ali, the 12 Imams, the 14 innocents, the martyrs of Karbala. Right now we're in the season of Ashura and Muharram. The Prophet and his family. To love the Ahlul Bayt, to love the Prophet's family, you have to love them. The practical result of the Hurufi Bektashi teaching is to give so exalted a position to man as the supreme revelation of God that man, is to be worshipped. The concept of many of these fraternities and groups that call men worshipful master or worshipful. So the Bektashis already predate those teachings, and they're already telling you the same thing. Islam sees humans as God's deputies on earth. Numerical value of God or man or Yahweh is 32. And one who's a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason in Freemasonry always says, my faith is in God, when he gets to that level. And the Latin saying of that degree, spes mea in Dio est, also means my faith is in God, and 32nd. Bektashis recognize each other through handshakes, speech, coded language, signs, tokens, etc. Only the initiate can recognize the other and vice versa. Haji Bektashi is seen as a reincarnation of the light of Ali. The same light comes in other prophets, guides, and saints. So it's basically telling you that it's the same light that comes back and teaches humanity over and over again. And the concept of what the degrees are of the Bektashis, the first is the Ashik, one who loves, drawn to the community, considered a part of the community but not fully initiated. Those are the people that are basically supporters or friends of the community but not fully initiated. The second are the Muhib, an affectionate friend, one who has been initiated and can join formal meetings and ceremonies, open to both men and women, ceremony known as confession of faith. Ikrariyani, social intercourse encouraged between men and women. The third stage is the dervish, the wakifakat, dedication of existence, allowed to wear the headpiece of the order. He makes his home in the lodge, serving the Baba and the order. Now, the advancement depends upon the disciple and how long he or she has been sitting at the feet of their teacher. It can take one many years of patience to be advanced. There is an additional ceremony for those wishing to be a celibate dervish. Celibate dervish wears an earring giving tribute to the horseshoe of Ali. Now, the fourth stage the fourth degree is the one who becomes a Baba. And the Baba is the master of the tekke, or the lodge. He handles legal disputes, marriages, funeral services, family services, organizing relief efforts for the members, handling all major services in terms of being a one who's in charge of the lodge. Now the Halif, these are like the equivalent to the apostles. Haji Bektash spread his message, equal that of a grand master or superintendent, ordains Babas and supervises the districts in which the lodges of the Bektashi are under his leadership or supervision. Now the Dede, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, it's spelled Dede, who is the grand head in Tirana, Albania. And this is only by special appointment. I guess this is the concept of a grand sheikh or a grand master in the Bektashi order. Now, moving on. Now, before you read this book, I would recommend that you get like some knowledge of Sufism, because there's a lot of Arabic terminology or Turkish terminology. So those that are beginners, it might be difficult for you to understand. And that's why I've written notes down so I can make this video short, sweet, and to the point. So I can cover all of the major things that I learned from the Bektashis. And I hope you were able to take something from it as well. And moving on. Now, before eating, the prayer is, in the name of the Prince, at the beginning, let us say Allah, let us say eternal God. The table of Ali has come, let us say, permission, O Prince. Let the Prince give, let us eat for his reign and his kindness. The morning and evening prayer. In the name of the Prince, Allah, Allah, may the mornings be prosperous, may benefits be victorious, may evils be warded off, may unbelievers be defeated, may hypocrites be ruined, may enemies be subdued, may the believers attain their wishes, may friends be happy and cheerful, may their prayers be accepted, their desires attained, may God, Muhammad Ali, be our intercessor. Our lords, the 12 Imams, the 14 pure innocents, the martyrs of Karbala, every moment be our helpers. May no one separate us from their faces, their trains of followers, and may our Lord, the patron saint, be our guard and our helper. Pay the beneficial protection of our lords. All the illustrious saints be upon us with us and watching over us, present and absent. May the light of the Prophet, the grace of Ali, the breath of Haji Bektash Vali be shame for the unbeliever and curse for the Yazid. These are the people who persecuted and martyred the Prophet's family on the incident of Karbala, which the Ashura holiday to commemorate that has just passed in the season of Muharram. Mercy for the believer, for the reign of the true Erenler, and for the reign and the grace of our Lord, my Murshid Baba, who... Moving on. Men and women of the Bektashi who wish to marry must have different Babas. if they have the same Baba or same Sheikh, they are considered brother and sister only. Since basically you are a child of the way, you're considered a child of the way, or the Sheikh of the order or the Baba that initiates you is basically considered your father figure. So if he initiates a man and a woman who are part of his tariqa, then they cannot marry. However, in this, I guess, a special dispensation, a visiting Baba can satisfy this requirement if needed. So a visiting, let's say both of them have the man and the woman who wish to marry have the same Baba. If a visiting Baba is there, then he can take the place of the other spouse and carry out the ceremony that way. If the he or she does not already belong to another Sheikh or Baba. So they do have dispensations to help out with that. In the chapter of the book, and it's called Rites and Practices of the Bektashis, the initiation ceremony that I read described is exactly the same one that one goes through in Freemasonry. And, without saying anything specifically or going into detail in terms of what happens exactly, I'm going to leave that to you, the viewer, and maintain my own composure and dignity on that, and I'll let you read it on your own. The Bektashi rituals and ceremonies predate Freemasonry. Most would say after reading this that Freemasonry plagiarized their ceremony from the Bektashi, and I'm somebody who's been through Sufism and Freemasonry, and when I read this book and this specific passage of the rites and practices and the ceremonies, somebody who's been through both of these systems, I'm like, you know what? These guys predate Freemasonry, and this is exactly the same exact thing. It's like if you tell somebody who copies your homework, yeah, just you can take my essay, but just put it in your own words. So that's exactly what I see Freemasonry doing with the Bektashi Sufi order. They only changed if you really look at the concept of the ceremony, they only change the Quranic verses to Bible verses. So it's not completely the same, but it's the same exact thing from what I read. It's one who copies another but shows it in his own words. And we see that whether it's Freemasonry or Rosicrucianism or Thelema, all of these groups here in the West, their leaders gained inspiration and influence and teachings from Islams and the Sufis. So if you want the one-stop shop where you don't need to join any of these groups in the West, find a good Sufi order and it will satisfy all that you're looking for in terms of self-realization, becoming an upright human being with good conduct, good character, being around good people, connecting with God. Find a good Sufi order and it'll satisfy all of that for you. And what Haji Bektash Ali, his advice that he gave for someone who wishes to have God's protection always in their lives, Haji Bektash Ali's advice is that act with loyalty toward God, with justice towards his creatures, compassion towards subordinates, with forbearance towards your enemies, with fidelity towards your friends, with discipline towards yourself, being open and liberal towards dervishes, or those that are part of that way, or initiates of the way, with humility towards the learned, or those that are teachers or guides or mentors, or those that are of the path of the learned, and maintaining silent toward the ignorant. So if anybody's antagonizing you or targeting you or trying to get a response out of you, trying to rally you up, Imam Ali himself has said that the best reply to a fool is silence. So just ignore. And Bektashis believe in terms of the Nowruz Persian holiday that we see that happens every year, the New Year's, the Bektashis believe to be the birth date of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So in terms of what we see, in terms of what the Bektashis are teachings, are that you have to basically follow this path and just surrender yourself to God. Most of these spiritual paths, whether it's the Bektashi path or other paths that I've seen, everything resembles some kind of a spiritual surrender to God. And if you can do that, I think that will benefit your life in many ways. And what I learned from the Bektashis is that just be a good human being, have a good heart, surrender to the will of God, trust his messengers, his saints, his apostles, Prophet Muhammad, Ali, all of them in between, peace be upon them all, and follow and live your life to the best of your ability. And once you do that, God's protection, mercy, and all of that in between will always be with you. And to keep this video short, sweet, to the point, within that 20-25 minute time frame, I hope you benefited from what I had to offer. Again, this is the book, the Bektashi Order of Dervishes. And there it is. Please check this out. Very powerful and amazing book. And of course, if you have any questions or comments for me, please email me at salmansheikh911@gmail.com. Again, I represent myself only. I do not represent any Masonic Grand Lodge or any Sufi order. So thank you all, and I hope you were able to take something away from this. Thank you.